You're listening to the Afro Chi Podcast, a show for my fellow Black female energy healers and the everyday woman who wants to heal her energy in a creative and holistic way. You'll hear from Black female healers who share their knowledge, gifts, and experiences and enlighten you on how to tap into your powerful Black energy to get the results you need to live an energetically free life. If you're ready to become unstuck, find freedom and peace energetically, stay tuned. I'm your host, Kiera Flipping. Okay, guys, today we will be discussing one of my favorite topics, crystals. I am honored to have a very special guest today that is going to give us the history of crystals and enlighten us on how we can use crystals in our healing journey. Our guest can be found at tiacanil.com, and she offers one-on-one yoga sessions, chakra balancing, intuitive guidance, and also yoga teacher training. And y'all, she also makes jewelry, body butter, and hosts retreats. She is so dope. Today, I am happy to have Tia Canil with us to dish more on the topic of crystals. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am good. I am so excited. So she can see me, guys. Y'all can't see us, but she can see me. And I'm like jumping out of my seat. I love crystals. I have been following her for a while now, and I'm just always just so bubbly about how you talk about crystals and your love for them, and your crystals are so beautiful, and I'd be jealous. I'd be like, I want that crystal she got. It is so beautiful. So I'm just happy to have you here to talk about crystals. So I want to just get started. If you could tell us just what are crystals? I think some people may see them or hear about them or like me admire them and just think, you know, they're just beautiful stones. Could you start off with just telling us about what crystals are, how they're used, any history about them, if you can?
So yeah, I am okay. So I've been into rocks and stones and crystals for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And at one point when I was still like, I don't know, elementary, probably into middle school, I actually collected rocks.
So did I. Oh my gosh.
And I had like specimens and they were
Yes.
labeled depending on how they were formed and like all of that. Super nerdy. But that's what I was into and I'm still into it. So I feel like crystals are like the bones of the earth, like and rocks in general. I think that because they've been around for so long, like it takes them so long to form, first of all. And then after they're formed, a lot of times they're still growing because like different you know, parts are added or even worn away depending on if they're in water or what have you. But like I always believe that they have like stories to tell about earth, period. And so one of the honestly one of the best ways to connect with earth and nature is to have rocks or crystals. Essentially like crystals are sediments of earth that are like they come together and under pressure they form different like formations and each type is formed like in a different way. Like you have igneous that comes from lava. You have sedimentary where it's like layers of sediment coming together and kind of like fusing together over time. And so yeah, crystals.
The way you describe it, you give it such a very clear and simple explanation for those who try to complicate crystals.
Word. Yeah,
They're
most
really
things.
not that complicated. The way you just described it, I'm like, that's simple. Like, that's
Yeah.
a really good explanation.
Hey Queens, isn't this such a great episode? Be sure to check out the Afro Chi Healers Directory, where you can find healers in your area offering similar services to the guests on today's podcast. If you are a healer, please be sure to join the directory so that Black women can locate your healing services and offerings. To join and view the directory, please visit afroqi.com. Okay, let's jump back into this episode.
Yeah, and so like crystals have been used throughout history by humans in different ways, like because of the different energies that they carry with them, and the properties that they have in terms of like, for example, clear quartz is in like everything.
Okay.
And
what do you mean by everything?
I mean, like there's have you ever heard of silica?
Yes.
Okay, clear quartz.
Okay.
And so like it's in our electronics. Like here's the thing, and this is where we have to be really mindful. I think these scientists that be like trying to like act like crystals and energy and stuff like that isn't real. In actuality, they're using all of that. It's all about semantics. Yeah, it's about semantics and the words that they're using, but essentially they're using them for the same things that we use them for, right? They just have these scientific terms that make it sound supposedly more legit, but they're using clear quartz in everything.
Wow.
Like I said, electronics, like in our cars, our phones, our televisions. It's in everything. They just call it something different, but think about this. Everything that has been made by man had to come from some natural substance.
Very true.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And so like everything that we're looking at has been made from something that came from the earth. And so I believe that crystals really legit being everything. How can they not?
Yeah.
Because they making them from something. And so, going back to like different traditions, they're like, if you look at the ancient Egyptians, for example, they really placed a high value on the stone lapis lazuli, which is a dark blue, beautiful stone. A lot of times it has gold flecks in it.
Yes.
And it's great for working with the higher chakras, so like throat, third eye, and crown. And specifically they used it to work with third eye chakra energy as well as crown chakra energy, because they recognize that it's a way to like really connect with their higher self as well as the divine. And so they put it in their jewelry. A lot of times you'll see turquoise used in different indigenous traditions. Turquoise is used, lapis is used. Like a lot of these different stones, you'll see them in different, like I said, jewelry pieces, headdresses, different statues, and things like that may go on an altar. Like they incorporate it into their homes. So,
and I always have the conversation specifically with those who practice the Christian faith, who feel some type of way about crystals, right? So I'm always like, did y'all read the Bible? Like Aaron's breastplate had crystals. Like there were crystals, there were stones in his breastplate. Like crystals are in the Bible.
Right.
For those who are a little skeptical about crystals.
Right. And it wasn't because they look pretty.
Hello? If you specifically look at what crystal, if you just first of all, Google Aaron's breastplate, right? And then copy and paste and Google every stone that was in his breastplate, and it will tell you specifically what that stone is for. So like you said, they weren't just there because they was cute and he was out here flossing a dope breastplate. Like it was for a purpose.
Exactly. Because the people back then were just definitely more in tune with that energy. I feel like over time we've kind of like been dumbed down and told that certain things are not in alignment with God and
Mm-hmm.
holiness and all of
Mm-hmm.
this stuff. And it's like, how can you even say that when you're talking about something that was created by God? So you telling me that he just made stuff like willy-nilly, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that the divine did not do that. The divine God, creator, goddess, whatever you decide to call it, gave everything a purpose.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so like I said, that's why you can't get caught up in when these people are out here saying that they need scientific evidence. There's no scientific evidence. Bruh, like they're finally, scientists are finally catching on that meditation is like a thing, an
Hello.
effective tool.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, suddenly they have like these studies that show that people feel better when they're kind to each other. We needed scientific evidence for that. Energetically, you can't feel that. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And so
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's like it's the same with crystals. Knowing good and well they use crystals in so many things.
Yeah.
What are they building without using rocks?
Mm.
You feel me? What they
Yeah.
using to make these materials?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a man-made material, like I said, it still came from something that came from the earth. They didn't just like say, okay, I want to to have these what do they call wood laminate panels,
Uh-huh.
and I'm just bam. I didn't have to make them from anything. I didn't have to mix any kind of substance. I just made it. Like I snapped my fingers and there it was.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, they took from the earth. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love your explanation. Very simple. Very simple. Again, for those who be worried, they be so worried. Like, can I use a crystal? What that mean? I'm like, if
Yes.
y'all don't cut it out, it's not that
Yeah.
deep.
It's
It's real
not.
simple.
Exactly. Y'all
Can
don't, I
you?
mean, like, they're not questioning anything else. That's the thing. Can I use this plastic?
Huh?
Can I?
Hello?
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if that's the case, then question everything. But when you're talking about something that came from the earth and it's in your belief system that God created it, what's the problem?
So true. So true. Can you
Yeah.
can you share like your journey, like what you use crystals for? Because there's so many crystals and they're used for so many different things. Could you just tell us about like how you use crystals in your life and your journey?
hmm Okay, so I am the person who has crystals in every single room
Mm-hmm.
of their
Like in your
living
home?
space.
Okay.
Yes. And I have crystals in my car.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am always wearing crystals. And so it just depends, honestly, on how I'm feeling. Like if,
Mm-hmm.
because every crystal has a different property or energy tied to it. And so, like, I keep selenite and black tourmaline either under my pillow or near where I lay my head.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because selenite works specifically with crown chakra energy,
Mm-hmm.
and third eye. And so like I just want to make sure like that area, that energy center is good and balanced, but also the black tourmaline to just for protection.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're in a sleep state and you're dreaming and stuff, like different things can come up. And so the black tourmaline is a way to help me stay grounded at the same time.
Okay.
um but like, yeah, like I said, they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I travel with them. I have them in my car, I have them in my living and work spaces. um I'm always wearing them,
Mm-hmm.
or have them in my pocket or my bag. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many times when I put on a jacket that I haven't worn in a while and slip my hand in the pocket and be like, oh snap, I was looking for this. I was looking for this a couple weeks ago. And it's some stone that I was carrying. Yeah, so I always have them with me. Always. And like, depending on, like I said, depending on what I have going on, I may feel like I need to be more grounded, or I may feel like, I want to facilitate more nurturing and compassion. So then it may be like some sort of jasper, like fancy jasper, that I'll put on a fancy jasper bracelet, or just have a piece with me. So yeah, it just depends. But I think I've gone away from more of oh my gosh. So my rock collection when I was little was pretty good. Like, it was a good size. However, this crystal collection is like, it's a little out of control.
You have so many crystals.
You have no idea.
I'm sure. That's what I'm like. I'm probably sure you haven't even shared with us how many you really have.
Oh my gosh. One day I'm going to like put them all together and take a picture and post it and
you
be like,
should.
Y'all, this is my crystal collection.
And
I'm not embarrassed. It's just very funny because, and I mean, I literally will give them away as gifts, because I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Like, I have so many pieces of clear quartz. I was going through this through this phase where I was just like buying up a lot of crystals, and I don't really know why, but maybe it was so I can gift them to people later. But I have a ton of amethyst, a ton of clear quartz. Oh my gosh.
You have so many. For people listening, and maybe for some, like, this is the first time they're hearing like certain names of crystals and things like that. Could you share like the benefits of them? Because it seems like you don't go nowhere without a crystal. So clearly this crystal is providing you something. Could you share with us, like, what are the benefits of having crystals, whether it's on your body, in your pocket, or in your home? Like, what are some benefits that people can experience from crystals?
So certain crystals, like citrine, for example, citrine it often is like a yellowish color. It's a form of quartz. It is another form of quartz, and you can tell just in the similarities of like the structure of the crystals, if they are like related or whatever. But with citrine, like, that's going to deal with you tapping into your inner power. So that's solar plexus chakra energy. That's confidence. That's willpower. That is helping you build higher self-esteem. It also deals with abundance. Ooh. And so a lot of times, like, if you have a shop or a store, place it in the left, I think it's the left corner. Like, if you come into the shop, you want it to be in the left, like, far corner.
Okay.
Not the one by the door, if you were coming in, but the other one, the left far corner. And that will help, like, that's supposed to help draw in more abundance. Malachite is absolutely beautiful. It looks, if you see it in its raw form, it looks otherworldly. Oh my gosh, it looks like it's not of this earth. And that deals heavily with love and compassion, and also like balancing the heart chakra and stuff like that. Clear quartz is a go-to. Yeah. I'm gonna say clear quartz all day, every day, because it does everything. It balances and aligns all of the chakras. It dispels negative energy, keeps negative energy away from you. Like, it does everything.
It's a staple.
It's crystal. A staple. I believe it is. Selenite also is a staple. Selenite is a crystal that I almost always have with me, along with black tourmaline, which of course is like root chakra. So feeling safe, secure, protected, grounded. Also deals with financial stability and does a great job at keeping away negative energy. But I will go back to selenite and say that one of the best things about selenite is that it doesn't take on negative energy. and
Okay.
it cleanses. It never needs to be cleansed or recharged. Like, people, like, you can cleanse your crystals by placing them in the moonlight and
Mm-hmm.
putting them in salt. Some people bury them in the earth and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You never have to do that with selenite. It
Okay.
never has to be cleansed. That's why I love it. And you can put it with your other crystals to cleanse them.
Ah, okay.
But
Okay.
selenite, it's just so powerful. Like, it can just be. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to. You ain't got to put it in the moonlight, the sunlight, none of that. It automatically just cleanses itself and cleanses the other stones around it.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Would you say that would be a good starter stone? Maybe that in the clear quartz, like for somebody that's just getting started?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how would you recommend somebody who's just getting started with incorporating crystals in their practice in their life? Would you recommend they have it with jewelry, or just like you said, in their pocket or in their house? How can somebody get started?
It really depends on their lifestyle, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. It may not be practical for them to have it in jewelry, depending on what their
What
job
they do.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like if you're sitting at a computer, I mean, you don't want a bunch of bracelets on. Or
Mm-hmm.
you're doing something where a necklace could get caught, you don't necessarily want a necklace on.
Mm-hmm.
But there you can get earrings. Like, I make crystal earrings,
Mm-hmm.
um studs and dangly. But like I said, it just depends. It may be easier for a person to just put it in their pocket or
Mm-hmm.
in their purse, or or place it under a pillow. But you
Mm-hmm.
have to be careful about the different stones that you place under your pillow. That's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. But when you're picking out a stone,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna call to you. Like, there's
Yeah.
gonna be something that draws you to it, and you're just gonna be like, oh, for some reason I like that. And essentially, it's because it has the properties that you need.
Mm-hmm. That is so true. Whenever I go to the
Hmm.
crystal store, I just kind of browse around, peruse around, and whatever says buy me, that's the one I buy.
Exactly. Because we already know the things that we need innately,
Mm-hmm.
even if we aren't aware of it. And so when you're in a shop, and you're able to like shop crystals and like see them and feel them, like you can pick them up and see how they feel in your hand. And it's going to be certain ones that just appeal to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you, if you learn about what properties that particular stone has, you'll see that it has the things that you're looking for.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
true. So true. So just hearing the benefits, like people who incorporate crystals in their life, so they can feel things such as more confidence, maybe more love and compassion. Are there certain crystals that could help people with anxiety and
Hmm.
depression and things like that? Like maybe some mental health type of stuff as well. Like crystals could help support them with that.
For sure. Jade.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, Jade is one that is always going to bring like tranquility and calm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So is rose quartz. And
Yeah.
here's the thing, like, anything working with heart chakra energy is going to help facilitate more peace, tranquility, harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we are cultivating more love for ourselves and other people, we naturally come into a more peaceful state anyway.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so, as far as like specifically mental health things, I'm gonna say rose quartz, some form of jade, fancy jasper, like I mentioned before,
Mhm.
um, feeling grounded. That's going to be anything that's black
Okay.
obsidian, onyx, black tourmaline. There's a black jasper,
Mhm.
because those things are really grounding,
Mhm.
um, and kind of like help you, like I said, feel more safe and stable, and secure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it seems to be there's a crystal for any and everything.
Yes.
Whatever you're facing, whatever you're dealing with, there is a crystal for you. Whatever you're trying to maybe draw into your life, there's a crystal for that. There's a crystal
Yes.
for
For
everything.
everything. For everything.
Wow, I'm so excited. I hope everybody has like a pen and paper and they're just jotting down all these gems you're dropping. Like, ooh, Deb, I got that. Let me make sure I get that crystal. Let me make sure I look into that, because there is, like I said, a crystal for
For
everything.
everything.
Just
Hmm.
one last question. Are there any crystals or any benefits for like women in particular? Are there any crystals that you would like recommend for women, for Black women maybe? Are there any crystals that kind of stick out to you?
Yes. So all day, every day, I'm gonna say rose quartz because of what it does. Because a lot of times, Black women, because we have like these different stereotypes and stigmas attached to how we are supposed to show up in the world to make other people feel comfortable. I think that rose quartz is really important because it helps cultivate that peace and compassion for self.
Okay.
Which helps us kind of like release judgment and forgive ourselves and really tune into our own capacity to love.
I know you like, there's so many.
There are so many.
All right, give us one more. We got rose quartz. What's one more?
I'm gonna go back to black tourmaline.
Okay.
Because of the way it protects, mainly, and because I really feel we need that.
And that grounding.
Exactly. So that we don't allow ourselves to keep getting caught up in other people's like expectations of us. I think that one of the most important things we do is really like figure out what we want as individuals outside of what anyone else wants or could want from us or for us. And that can be really hard to do, but it's necessary. If you really trying to get free and be happy and like by your own standards and successful according to what your standards of success are, then you gotta love yourself more and you gotta like feel protected and safe enough to step out and be who you're supposed to be. Right.
I love that. It's like a good self-care stone.
Word.
For those on their like self-care journey, that's a good stone to have.
Indeed, it is.
I love it. Well, I want to thank you again so much. I know so many people are going to want to contact you and just get a hold of you because there's like crystals they're simple.
Yes.
They're so deep. Like there's so many crystals. There's so many properties that they hold. So I know we'll continue this conversation again. And I just want to thank you so much just for sharing your knowledge and your expertise.
You.
So guys, make sure you go and check her out. She does so many awesome things. When I tell you she is so dope, like she does so much. Intuitive guidance, chakra balancing, one-on-one yoga sessions. She also does retreats. Like, y'all, she is amazing. So thank you so much again for sharing your knowledge of crystals with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Afro Chi podcast. Be sure to visit our website at afroqi.com and on all social media platforms at The Afro QI. Subscribe to this podcast now so you never miss a show.